Hey, what's up, Vox and Hops heads? I'm Matt, the vocalist of Cryptopsy and the host of the Vox and Hops podcast, brought to you by Sound Talent Media, where I sit down with fellow metal musicians to talk about their lives, music, and craft beer. Today is a very special Vox and Hops episode because it is an extra Vox and Hops episode. I normally drop 2 episodes a week, but today's is a special one because as of today, at the OverHop Canada brewery in Saint-Jean-sur-le-Richelieu, you can go and pick up the Vox&OverHops Double Dry Hop New England IPA, the collaborative brew between Vox&Hops and OverHop Canada in celebration of Vox&Hops' 2nd anniversary. It is available today. This is a glorious Double Dry Hop New England IPA. I am so stoked about it. The can art is super dope, and the beer inside it is even doper. Go and pick it up. Tell me what you think about it. I am super, super excited about it. In honor of this collaboration, I sat down with Paty Rios of OverHop Canada during our brew day. Get ready, people. This is Vox and Hops, episode number 203.
I warn you, what you are about to hear is very disturbing indeed.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Today I'm with Paty Rios of OverHop Canada. I am super stoked to be with you because this is actually an in-person interview, people. I haven't done one of these in a very, very long time, and we are together because it is our brew day for our collab. The Vox&OverHops Double Dry Hop New England IPA is being created today, so I had to sit down with you and have a chat with you because I always wanted to. So how are you doing, Paty?
Welcome to our house. Thanks very much for taking this long trip to come here. I'm very happy to be brewing this beer with you. I am sure it's going to be amazing.
Absolutely, absolutely. And for everyone listening right now, that beer came out today, as I probably mentioned in the intro, and I'm going to mention in the outro, and I will tell you where to go pick it up because it's going to be awesome. I know it. I'm seeing into the future. So some people might think that they've heard some of these questions before if they watched me and Paty together on the virtual roundtable discussion that I hosted for Le Mondial, but I think it's important to go through it again. So let's start with a complex yet very fun question, especially for you guys. How have you been coping with 2020, Paty?
Oh my gosh, seriously, we haven't seen this year, I think, like everybody else, but we are lucky enough to be super busy because it's our launch, right? So we were busy enough in the beginning of the year with the construction work and everything. And then we got even busier after we opened. And again, we are super lucky that our industry is an essential type of industry. We kept our bubble, just me, Tatiana, and the brewers, and just two brewers and my husband. So we didn't really see anybody else apart from us. And after we started to be able to sell here in our boutique, we took all the measurements. We take all the measurements to keep everybody safe. But I can't complain. I can't complain. It's been a very good year for us. We finally have our house. We finally have our independency. And I truly hope it's going to be better next year.
It has to be, but it is true. You mentioned that you have your house. You guys finally have your own brewing facility, and that was something that happened very early in 2020. Before that, I want to go through your whole beer story because I know it, because I have heard it from you before, but I think it's important to paint the picture for everyone out there because I think it's such a beautiful story, and I love how craft beer has almost guided your life.
Yeah.
And I was blown away when I heard everything. So take me back to cooking and then finally transitioning into making your own brews because you realized how expensive beer was.
Yeah.
What is your brewer story? Why do you make craft beer?
Yeah, so I was introduced to craft beer first with my father because he used to travel a lot around the world. He's a retired from Navy. He used to bring alcohol from all over the world home, so I've always seen those alcohol from all over at home. But then when I was 23, I lived in New York. My friends were home brewers. When I went back home, I was always looking for craft beer to match with my food because I love cooking. It's a tradition in my family too. And my husband used to drink only commercial beers, and he finally fell in love with craft beer too. And we were spending so much money with beer that we decided to learn how to brew, and we actually ended up spending 10 times more just to buy all the ingredients, all the equipment, and the space we had in our porch that was for the kids just became a fridge, a big fridge full of fridge. And so we did fall in love. We started brewing with a group of friends, and we were going to championships for home brewers when we were getting all the medals. And that's when we thought maybe we should try to set up a brand and see and test the market. So that's how we started. We took our beers to Mondial de la Bière. We contract brew 4 recipes: hazy, dark hop, hop goddess, and Sweet Sophia. It was a huge success. We got 2 medals at that festival at Mondial de la Bière. And at that time, OverHop was born, and that's when we met people from Mondial de la Bière in Montreal. So it was all at the same time. It's hard to explain our story. For us, it's confusing too. So, but that's what it is.
It's amazing. It's such a beautiful story. The fact that you guys being in Brazil, Mondial de la Bière, having a Brazilian festival happening. You guys, this is in 2016, I believe.
2016, yes.
You guys win a bunch of medals there with a hazy New England, which nobody was making at the time.
Nobody, yeah.
Where did that come from? Where did that hazy beer idea come from? What is the difference between the Brazilian craft beer scene and the North American one, the Quebec one, for instance?
The Brazilian craft beer scene now is about 10 years old. Well, it's getting much bigger now, but I can say that for the last 7 years, it's been already huge. There's always room to grow, right? Because we drink beer all the time. I can tell you that we drink much more than Quebecers, and Quebecers drink a lot. But in Brazil, beer is not even seen as a drug. It's seen as an everyday liquid. Nobody sees the danger of beer. I also think we have less problems, less alcoholic problems. I call
alcoholism, yeah.
And because it's cultural, we drink beer in the bus stop, in the beach, in the parks, everywhere in the street. So I think there's much more room to grow in Brazil. The craft beer market is growing every day more and more.
The hazy, where did the hazy come from?
Okay, so in the beginning, everybody was just brewing German beers or Belgian because they're the most traditional, right? Sometimes English, IPAs and stout, porters, just these basic ones. And then a friend of ours went to the United States. One of my home brewing colleagues, he went to the United States. He saw that, and he managed to bring the yeast back home. So that was like a
secret.
Yes,
clandestine mission.
Yes, and as a tropical place, we grow up drinking fresh fruit juice. It's in every corner there is a fruit juice bar. You can have orange juice, passion fruit, pineapple, mango, all the Brazilian fruits everywhere. And then when I first smelled the beer that smelled like all the fruit I knew in my life, I'm like, what the heck is this? Like, it's an explosion of flavors, and the taste is even better. Of course, people would fall in love with that. And people see us, they think about hazy, right? It's impossible not to fall in love with this salad fruit.
It's amazing. And in 2016 here in Quebec, I don't think anybody, maybe a few were onto the whole hazy game. I'm thinking Les Trois Mousquetaires, maybe, Vox Populi, maybe a few others, but you guys were definitely avant-garde in that. How did you end up here in Canada? How
did I end up here?
Yeah.
We, as I said, I lived in New York. My husband grew up in France. We got the chance to live in France together too. And we knew there was a world outside Brazil that was a much better word to raise our kids. And although we love Rio, we are super proud of being Brazilian. We love our culture and everything. It's not, unfortunately, Rio and Brazil is not a safe place to raise your kids anymore. And we didn't see a change in the next 20 years. And then 20 years after that, your kids would be grown-ups and you would be in the same situation or even a worse situation, economic and with violence and everything. And we were tired of that. We had to act, and we decided to immigrate. We couldn't immigrate to Europe because we don't have the passport. The only open places were Canada and Australia. Australia is way too far.
Yes.
Sorry, Seaford. and although I would love to live there, but that was Canada. And I lived in New York. Canada was, I had been already to Niagara, to the border. I was scared of the cold, but I also like the cold. So we did a long research and we made up our minds. I took a therapy, and I became a lioness. Seriously, I came here with my eyes bleeding to conquer, for victory, and I never stopped fighting for what I made my mind to achieve. And I'm happy that I'm here now. So
it's unbelievable. How much did this coincide with? Because when you win a medal at Mondial, you get invited to come present in the little pub that they have at Mondial in Montreal, the original Mondial. So how much of this did it all coincide in time-wise?
So I was already researching about Canada since 2015.
Wow. Okay.
That's when we started brewing together. And then 2016, we decided to make the OverHop register. We took it to Mondial. And we got a medal, but I was already enrolled in a college here in Toronto. So at that moment, we were like, okay, we are going together to the branding, to the contract brewing, but we are not going to invest any money in a physical place here. Let's see what's going to happen, because I need to get my money to Canada because I don't know how life is going to be there. And it was a coincidence, a happy coincidence. The Mondial was from Canada. We were already coming here, and we put all of our money here in Canada. And the way we did with our friends, my friends capped Brazil and we capped Canada. So that's how we work together. We still work together to develop the branding, but we are two separate companies because we are in different markets. So we have to work as the market asks us, right? But it was a coincidence. We were already coming to Canada. Those crazy coincidences that you really can't explain how they end up happening. And my husband and I, we don't believe in God, but we kind of believe in energy, and it's hard to explain, but we've had so much happy coincidences that it's crazy.
Absolutely. And another one, because we discussed this on our Mondial roundtable, you come and present at Mondial here in Montreal, and you end up meeting a Schlag.
Yeah.
Who are a ginormous brewery here in Montreal, and they contract brew for a bunch of people, and you guys developed a relationship there.
Yeah, and when we met them, they weren't that big at all. They were also starting. We saw them growing. We grew together with them. And they had space for contract brewers. They were looking for contract brewers. And again, another happy coincidence. We made so many good friends. Everybody that started together, like Space Public, Avant-Garde, Matera, and Chalton. We all had the chance to grow together and see Oshla growing too. And as I always say, we will always be grateful for Oshla, because what the chance we had here in Quebec, it's unique. It's unique.
Absolutely, and we would not be sitting here in your facility if it wasn't for those relationships and working with them. And we're about to taste one of your beers that has actually come from here. It's your new White New England IPA. What is this beer? Presented to me, Patty. What is it called? And what's this beer got going on?
It's the Skallen Clan. It's a project we always wanted to do here in Canada, and we finally got the chance to do our first one of the series. It's a collab with a group of home brewers called Le Clan de Brasseurs. It's actually a store. It's a boutique for home brewers here in Saint-Jean-sur-Richelieu. The guys are super beer geeks, and they're very talented. And we want to be able to do this more and more with other home brewing groups. So if you're listening to me, and if you have a home brewing group, if you want to come and brew in our brewery, just send me a message. We're willing to make this project at least 3 times a year. So we are not big fans of Belgian beers. To be really honest, we hate it. We don't like it at all. Like
what is it about the Belgians that you don't like?
Well, I love lambics. I love sour beers. I like sour beers, but we don't like the sweetness of the triples, the quadruples. We appreciate when they're well done. We know how to judge if a beer is good, but it's not our cup of tea. It's not a beer that we would buy to have it at home. But so that was a challenge for us, because our brewer Gabriel, he came from Unibrew, and he's a huge Belgian fan. Since day one, he always wanted to brew a Belgian beer. And when we met with the guys from Le Clan de Brasseurs, they were like, why don't we do this? Let's make a hybrid. And then we could try. And seriously, this is my favorite beer so far. Like for this moment, I have one every night. I love it. I think it was very interesting. So it's white Québec IPA, New England IPA. 6%, easy to drink. The Québec gives a mango profile, super mango profile. The hops, the hop that was used, the Laurel. It's also an American tropical type of hop, cousin of the Mosaic and Citra. So it's a super tasteful and tropical, and with all the grain grist from the Belgian beers and the spices like the bitter orange peel, the sweet orange peel, the coriander, the cilantro seeds, which is incredibly flavorful. The result is just great. I'm happy.
Awesome. Let's see what it's got. Cheers.
Cheers.
From across the room. So weird not cheersing people. Something that I miss dearly. It smells fantastic. Super, super crushable. Beautiful little hop bite. It's so clean. Delicious. That mango from the east. Just delicious. I think it's super cool that you guys are opening up your doors to homebrewing clubs. Is that something you wish that you had back in the day, or is it an experience that you did have that makes you open to it?
We did have. So in Brazil, we used to have championships for home brewers. My husband, me, and my partner from Brazil, we used to organize it. The last edition before COVID, there were 2,000 home brewers together.
Wow.
All home brewers. It was not like friends or family that were coming, just home brewers. And we used to select one style of beer, and everybody had to brew the same. And we call official judges to judge our beers. We got the chance to invite John Palmer, which is like a home brewing god that wrote the book How to Brew, to come to Brazil to judge one of those championships. And usually the winner of those championships was going to used to brew a beer in a brewery. Okay. We wanted to do that here too, but we can't. In Quebec, it's not.
Our archaic laws are forbidden.
Yes, so we can't do it. So it's a way to do it. So we will call brewers here to brew with us. At least they will have the chance to experiment brewing a bigger system. If they have any plan to have their own brewery, that's a chance that they have to see how it works. What do you need to have? How much money you need, the time it will take for you to do that, and to test the equipment itself. Like as contract brewers, we've brewed already in so many different breweries that when we had to build our own brewery, we knew already what we wanted and what we didn't want. So I think it's important for everybody that wants to start a brewery to have the experience to meet other breweries, right?
That's very interesting.
I think we have home brewing in our veins. We support. We think it's the best way to get more people to our world. It's when you know how to brew, when you understand how beer is transformed, how the wort is transformed into beer by the yeast, and how magical hops can be in the beer. It's beautiful.
Absolutely. Tough question. I know you love your relationship with your contract breweries. Take me to your level of satisfaction. I know for myself, I always parallel to music. Contract brewing is basically you giving your song to musicians in a room. They play your song that you've written, and then you have to release that album, whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
So talk me through your relationship with the beer that has come out on the market via contract brewing, not just Schlag, but the other ones that you have done. And was it difficult for you to release products at certain moments when you weren't completely satisfied with, and you knew that if you had your own facility, you would have done it differently?
No, it's not easy at all. It's not easy at all. But it's the perks, it's something you have to go through. It's the con. It's the con of being contract brewer. Of course, there is a limit. There is a limit of bad beer that you can accept. Not bad beer, that beer that's not in our standards. But we had our standards, right? If it is if there is the aromatic profile, if there is the haziness, it's okay, But sometimes we had our beers like dry hopped instead of double dry hopped, dry hopped like 4 times.
Because of mistakes.
Yeah.
But
it's a mistake that doesn't allow us to have any profit.
I understand. Yes. Yes, exactly. Yes.
And it's another perk. The beer was fantastic. Was delicious. Was the best batch ever. But man, there was, instead of like 80 kilos of hops, there were 160 kilos of hops. Just, an idea. So those type of things you need to go through. It's the con.
But at the end of the day, do you always have the final say on what goes out onto the market when you are contract brewing?
Yes and no. Depending on the facility we were. As I said, we brewed in so many different places in Ontario, for example. We used to go brew with them, and here too in Quebec. We do have in the contract that if there is a big mistake, we're not going to pay for that.
Okay.
And if like everybody decides to return the beer, they will pay for that too.
Okay. You mentioned that you see home brewers as a way to get people involved in the scene, to grow the scene. Do you think that there's actually enough room for more people to come into the scene? Because I'm seeing the craft beer scene being very flooded, and a lot of breweries starting always more every year. I compare it to the world of bands again, where there are millions of bands out there, but only so many shows that you can play or venues that you can play. How do you see where do you think the bubble is going to go, and when is it going to pop for the Quebec craft beer scene?
Seriously, there would be no reason for the bubble to pop if you think that we are 1% of the market, of the beer consumers market. So if we the 400 brewers that are in Quebec, they're like 1% of the beer that is sold in Quebec. So there's no way for us to think that it's going to pop at any time. So I think the behavior needs to change. The consumer behavior needs to change, and it's our task to change it. So when we established here in Saint-Jean-sur-Richelieu, we wanted to have a blonde, easy drinking beer for our neighbors that were coming here to see, hey, what's going on here?
Yeah.
You're selling beers? You're selling beer? What kind of beer do you have? Oh, I have IPAs. What? No.
What's an IPA?
What's an IPA, right? So first question is, what type of beer do you like drinking? And the same answer always: blonde, blanche, rousse, noir.
Mm-hmm.
So at least we have a blonde. And what we did, we used grains from a farm that is right by us.
Beautiful.
It's it's an organic farm, and we use the hops from Laval. Laval is a farm in Laval. So we wanted to be the most local, as much local as possible. And my neighbors changed their Budweiser for, can I say Budweiser here?
You can say whatever you want. Say whatever the fuck you want, Patty.
Well, for a blonde. So that's the consumer behavior changing.
Very
and then
cool.
he's like, oh, let me try what else do you have? And then when they taste hazy, they're like, oh, God. Yeah, I like that. I like that. So I do have a couple of clients, one couple, they're already like in their 70s. They come here every month and they buy me a case of beer.
It's amazing.
And she told me after I started drinking a beer, I couldn't go back to my macro beer anymore. And that's it. You know, you drink less, you drink better.
Absolutely. Let's return to the Vox&OverHops collab that we're brewing today. Take me to that moment where you received that message from me. Take me through everything that went through your mind. How easy was it for you to make the decision to want to do this collab with me for my 2nd anniversary? It was an easy decision for me to write you because we just have such a immediate friendship. I felt it. We met a little over a year ago at Chambly, and just immediate kinship I felt. So take me to that moment.
Yeah. So I remember when Craig Seifert told me he had met you.
Yes.
And that he said, "Hey, Paty, and I have this friend. He's a beer blogger, a beer vlogger, and he loves Hopman. And I have to introduce you guys to each other, and I'm sure you're going to love him." And that's what happened. I was like, we did have a crush with with our brands, right? Since day one. And I think it makes a lot of sense because we've been talking so much through all this time. You support a lot our business. You wanted to know more about us. You know, you like our beers. And I had to make room for you. I had to make room for this collab. I think our Publix, again, it's a collab that will bring people to your world and will bring your people to my world, right?
Absolutely.
And that's I've shown your videos to so many people that had never seen death, thrash metal ever, and they're all like, "Oh my God, that's cool. That's cool. It's such a nice podcast and the band and everything." And it makes a lot of sense.
I am very, very grateful. I'm super stoked to be here. My first time at the facility. It's beautiful. Everyone come out here. Saint-Jean-sur-le-Richelieu and get your OverHop going on, people. It's totally, totally amazing. We're going to wrap this up with metal, of course, because it's Vox&Hops. We have to. Have you ever listened to metal in your life? And if you have, which bands would those have been?
Okay, so I grew up in the 80s and 90s, right? And then I listened to all the hard rock and glam rock, and I grew up listening to this. So my first crush in my life was Sebastian Bach.
Yes, the Vox&Hops alumni.
Yes,
and when I dropped the episode, Paty wrote me immediately. Had I known Paty, I would have got him to give you a shout out.
Yes, and so I did have a poster of him in my room. I used to kiss him every night. It's true, absolutely. And then Poison too. I was, oh my God. I would, if I was older, I would be a groupie, you know. I would just be going around, going after them. So yeah, I love those. I also grew up with my father listening to lots of progressive rock and Pink Floyd, Genesis, and even Rolling Stones. My mom is a Beatles lover. She had a hair just like the Beatles hair.
Really?
Yeah. So we grew up listening to this at home. And then after we met Tatiana, we didn't talk about her, but before, Tatiana is my partner.
That's right, Tatiana, the Vox&Hops alumni, who I met before Tatty that day.
Yes.
At Chambly, and we had a nice little chat together.
Yeah, so we've been friends for 20 years. And we used to work together at the Hard Rock Cafe. So we were
That's right. Yes.
listening to Hard
yes.
Rock all day long, and it's a great memory we have, and it's like in our veins too. So yeah, that's my rock.
I love it.
Sorry.
I love it. Let's wrap this up with one last question. It probably never happens to you because you're very in control. You own a brewery. You're around it all day, but every once in a while it happens to everyone. What is your hangover cure?
My hangover cure is sweets and a lot of water.
Sweets.
Yeah.
Like
sweet.
candies.
Not candies. I don't know if you know dulce de leche.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
It's like condensed milk, cooked condensed milk. It's like a Brazilian treat, and
Really?
Argentina too. So it's desserts, let's say. I like desserts and lots of water. Lots of
Absolutely.
Advil too for headaches, but that's it.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much, Patty. We're going to keep hanging out because we're busy working.
Yeah.
We had a little bit of time between some periods of the brew, and we're going to get back to that. So we're going to keep hanging out with not you guys listening. Go pick up Vox and OverHops, people. Super stoked about it. Cheers, Patty.
Cheers.
Hey, thank you all so much for listening right to the end. You know that I love and appreciate that. I love Paty Rios. I love the people of OverHop Canada. They are honestly just the nicest, warmest, welcoming humans that I have ever met. And I couldn't think of a better brewery to team up with, to make a collaborative brew with for my 2nd anniversary. I am just so stoked and honored and excited about this project. And I just can't say thank you enough to the OverHop Canada crew. If you enjoyed this Vox and Hops episode, you should absolutely go and subscribe to it on the podcast platform of your choice. But not only that, you should write a review, and you can rate the podcast as well, because if you do that, more people just like you will be able to discover the Vox and Hops podcast. Vox and Hops is brought to you by Sound Talent Media. I have one more episode dropping tomorrow. But until then, remember to enjoy life, metal, and craft beer. Cheers, Vox and Hops heads.